Hello everybody, welcome to the Nurburgring for the 6th race of the iGPFun tournament. 25 laps around the Grand Prix circuits for a approximately 45 minutes race, as always. Pole position went to Bruno Dometer, followed by Max Venitz, only 500ths of a second behind him. Luca Varani and François Philippe in row 2. Mark Underwood, 5th position for him. I think it's his best performance in the league. And Cristobal Gutierrez alongside him on row 3. Joey Miller and Rodrigo Capelletto Ferreira on row 4. Giovanni Sellito and Gerard McAreevy finishing up the top 10. These two drivers have been racing together for the past 3 or 4 league races. And it seems that we're going to have another go today. The cars are revving the engines. Clean start as always in this tournament. Cars getting even 3 wide with no drama whatsoever. That's always nice to see. The track is not the easiest, and it's actually new to many drivers. These are the top 3. Bruno Dometer in the red car, Max Venitz, yellow car, Luca Varani in the purple. Venitz and Varani are covering the top 2 positions in the standings, in the league standings I mean. François Philippe with the green livery in position 4. Mark Underwood behind him with blue livery. And just about everybody else. This is the end of the lap basically. The run into the final chicane. One of the best passing spots on the track. It seems that the 4 true drivers are actually gaining some ground already. The field is well spread out. There is Marc Egea on the inside of Joey Miller into turn 1, backing out of it at the last moment. Let's get the gap information going in the bottom right. The field is getting spread out a little bit. Not unexpected. It's a rather difficult track in this cup, and as I was saying earlier, many drivers are not familiar with it. The gaps are extremely small. It's about 0.5 seconds between each car on the track, with the exception of the top 2, but no side-by-side racing for now at least. the race is still long anyway. Varani has lost some further track position in respect to the first two drivers. 55.8 the lap time for Venice. Bruno Dometer, I do not have information right now. It was 56.4 for Varani, so that's quite a difference. Robert Fiers and Steve Morris, position 13 and 15. Robert with the blue car and the iGPFun logo, as always, thank you for running it. Francois Philippe, meanwhile, very close to Varani, only 0.3 seconds. Rodrigo Ferreira, meanwhile, overtook Ariel Barro for the position 17. Cars are close to each other, quite a lot of them now. This is Cristobal Gutierrez in the yellow car, following Mark Underwood, position 5 and 6. Varani and Felipe, position 3 and 4, are now 4 seconds behind the leaders, with Max Benitz here on camera in the yellow car, following Bruno very closely. Marc Egea, meanwhile, still on the tail of Joey Miller. Mark Underwood has just passed Luca Varani, Philippe as well. Let me go back to the replay, see if we can catch what happened. It must have been a problem for Varani. He has a comfortable lead, it seems, and then the car just rotating in this slow second gear left-hander. 2 position dropped. You could maybe see the flames coming out of the exhaust when changing gear, upshifting, sorry. Let's stay with these drivers for a moment. Varani was faster than Underwood in qualify, so we can assume that he will pressure him, or we can expect to. Gerard Macarivi, meanwhile, dropping to position 11. That's something else must have happened there. Actually, he was already behind Robert Sinkins. I'm not sure of what happened here. So I don't know why Gerard was so far back in the grid, but he just overtook Robert going into the chicane, whereas behind him Steve Morris passed Tim Phillips. Steve with a red car, Tim Phillips with a Williams livery, blue, white and yellow. That was Steve running quite wide. Tim does not have the speed to attack him. The fourth car of the group is Brian Strongquist. They seem to be having a nice scrap. Rodrigo Ferreira is behind them. Let's see. For a moment I thought that Brian could overtake Robert. Meanwhile, Gianni Celito has overtaken Cristobal Gutierrez. Cristobal lost a couple of seconds, so probably a mistake by him. Let's stick with these drivers for a second. Although Varani and Celito are only 0.7 seconds behind Mark Underwood. Seems like actually more of a gap by looking at the images. Much closer battle right behind them, positions 7, 8 and 9 for Joey Miller, Cristobal Gutierrez and Mark Egea, sorry. Cristobal a little tail happy. Mark, bad move. That was not a very nice show by Mark. He just hit Joy. That's again nothing to say about it. Joy Miller with damage. Parking the car against the pit wall on the inside. I'm sorry, Joy was ended up off track in the last race at Road Atlanta, so a little unlucky for him. Meanwhile, and we'll get a replay again because Mark Underwood dropped 2 places. Again, the car started rotating and he just lost it. Barani had gained almost a second on Underwood the previous lap, so maybe Mark felt under pressure, I don't know. But it is a rather weird corner, the one where Mark lost the car. Sometimes the car just starts rotating and goes away from you. This is the view from Varani's nose cone. Just avoiding the accident. And this is Mark rejoining the track. Very nice way to do so. Of course, he wasted a lot of time. That's too bad for him. But he did not cause any harm, any damage to his fellow racers. Gianni Celito closely following Varani. Gianni with a yellow and blue car. We are looking back from Varani's car. Top speed for the race is 230.7 for Varani, 226.8 kilometers per hour for Sellito. I don't know if it is a different wing setting or just a matter of Varani using a draft in the previous laps. .3 lap time for Varani. Ron Wallace overtaking Steve Morris. We get a replay of this in a moment. With Steve trying to get his position back on the outside. Actually ending up losing a place to Team Phillips. This looks like a nice bunch of cars, and again we get a replay going, and then we'll actually stick to this group for a while. Ron Wallace leading this group of cars. Steve Morris leading. Ron just had a much better exit from the chicane and passed on the inside. That was a nice move by him. Then the two of them going side by side into the first corner. Steve possibly a little too long under braking, certainly too wide, and Team Phillips taking advantage of it. Nice driving by all involved. Behind them is Rodrigo Ferreira with the orange car. Please let me know if that's the right way to call you. Full name is Rodrigo Capelletto Ferreira. Robert Fias, blue car behind them, and Brian Strongquist with a black car. Ron Wallace going wide on the exit of that corner. Smoking tires for him into the hairpin, and are we gonna make it 3 wide here with Brian Strongquist on the inside of Robert Fiat. As I always say, you do not need to be winning races to have fun in our tournament. There is close racing and clean racing everywhere in the field. If you feel like joining us, please do so. I can guarantee you that you will not regret it. We are losing the cars behind the pit box, the pit buildings, I should say. Camera angles are a little too tight for my liking in this part of the track. $17 laps to go for all these cars. We will get back to the leaders eventually. There is only 0.5 seconds between Bruno Dometer and Max Venitz. It has been like this for the whole race. Meanwhile, Rodrigo having quite a moment, and Ron Wallace passing Team Phillips, although the scoring is not showing this. Not sure why. Now he got updated. Steve Morris once again on the inside of Team Phillips this time. Steve seems to be getting very nice exit from the last corner. 0.3 seconds meanwhile between the top two. Let's follow them for a second, although there are quite a few other interesting battles around the track. Actually, these three guys are together once again, so let's look at them. The top two drivers are driving a race of their own. Best lap times for them, meanwhile, is Brian with a with a black car, having a good run at Steve, at Team Phillips. And behind them, Rodrigo just passed Robert Fierce. I'm sorry, I cannot get a single name right tonight. So this group seems to have spread out a little bit. Gianni Sellito, meanwhile, had lost a position, it seems, on Cristobal Gutierrez, but Cristobal is dropping through the standings, so he must have had some problem. And so it's Gianni Sellito with a yellow car, followed very closely by Gerard Macarivi. Let's look at the two leaders. Once again, Bruno Dometer and Max Venitz, or Venitz. There has been nothing between these two drivers for the whole race. Ten seconds the gap between these two and François Philippe. Barani 2 seconds behind him, and then another 10 seconds between Barani and Sellito and Macarivi. Brian Strongquist just passed Christopher Gutierrez and Mark Underwood overtaking Team Phillips. We'll try to get a replay of this. Nice exit by Mark. 156.7 is lap time. 1.5 seconds basically faster than Team Phillips. Mark qualified 5th, I believe. Yes, and is moving up the field after his early spin. Back to the leaders. Sorry for that, I'm not sure why everything went away. Clearly some problems, trying to sorting them. Sorry, there will be some further issue. Let's stick to the battle for position 6 with Gianni Serrito and Gerard Macarivi. Having a look on the inside, Gerard with the green car. Just re-initializing a few things here. Thank you for your patience. Things seem to be back under control. Steve Morris just passed Mark Underwood, it seems. Mark is slow on the inside. Once again, let's try to catch a replay of what was going on. Mark just ahead of Steve Morris, so he must have gained another position while I was trying to fix the broadcast overlays. Mark just spinning outside the final chicane. So he keeps going up and down the standings. Back to the leaders, still running together as you can see. This is the view from Max's car. Max is currently in position 2 in the standings, chasing Varani for the championship. You can see in the map that there are quite a few group of cars running together. These are the two leaders, very close to each other of course. Then Felipe Varani, the two dots behind them. They are at the chicane right now, these drivers. Gianni Selito and Gerard Macarivi, the two dots approaching the chicane now, very close to each other. Then there is Robert Sinkins running alone. We have not had him on camera for quite a while. Ron Wallace, position 8, very nice performance by him. And we'll switch to Rodrigo Ferreira, who is having a look on the outside of Steve Morris getting into the chicane. Sorry, the how do you call it? The gap information at the bottom is not was not updating automatically. Now it is. Apologies for not realizing this earlier. It's just a consequence of the issue we were having with the broadcast system. Steve defending the inside very effectively into turn 1 with 12 laps to go. Nice side-by-side racing, allowing room to each other, giving room to each other. We are midway through the race. As usual, not a dull moment in these races. Mark Underwood, for instance, is right on the tail of Team Phillips once again. Gerard Macarivi and Gianni Selito, another couple. And of course, Rodrigo Ferreira did pass Steve Morris, and I missed it. So let's try to follow again. I have a tendency to jump around when I see things in the live timing and then missing the action. That's a weird exit by Steve. Maybe he just missed a gear shift. Behind them is Mark Underwood in the blue and white car, having a look at the inside of Team Phillips that ran too wide at the hairpin. Almost impossible to overtake on the outside here, but Mark has a much better line. Having a look, but eventually giving up. This is a fast and rather tight corner. These guys are losing time. You can see Robert and Brian behind them getting closer and closer. Again, issues with what's going on. I'm sorry. I wanted to give you some information on the lap times these guys are achieving. Fastest lap of the race so far is 1:54.9 for Max Venitz, and Bruno Dometer just a few hundreds of a second slower. 55.3, Luca Varani behind them in the lap times. That's Mark locking the front right under braking. It's a difficult corner, that one. It's I find it very unnatural, very strange radius. It's very difficult to get it right, at least for me. Mark getting a nice exit. So a few drivers in the 55s, 1 minute 55 lap time, and then there is this bunch of drivers running in 157, except Mark. That's his best lap is in the 156. Again, he was 5th in qualify, so he clearly has the pace. Going on the inside of Tim Phillips now. Well done. At the back of the field, Ariel Barro, Joey Miller and Mark Egea have retired. I apologize, I'm not showing them on camera. It's not easy to follow everybody. With just about 10 laps to go, and let's go back to the two leaders, sorry. 9 laps to go for them, and they have not had a single break from each other. This is the 6th race of the season. Bruno would be the 6th winner if it ends like this. This is the leader, Bruno Dometer, onboard camera. Robert Fiers just passed Brian Strong first, it seems. Brian Strong first, leading again. When I mean leading is passing Robert. Again, let's try to look at the replay of the action. Brian with a black car, position 14. Sliding a little bit outside of the 4th corner, but he made the pass stick, so that's what matters. Back to another couple of drivers close to each other. It's Gianni Sellito and Gerard Macarivi, as always. Gianni is the diminutive for Giovanni, by the way. Somebody was asking me why I pronounce it differently from the way it's spelled. Well, it's the diminutive, as I was saying. Back to the group, batting for position 10. Steve Morris leading with 4 cars, but is losing almost a second per lap to Mark Underwood behind him. Ron Wallace and Robert Simpkins, meanwhile, have successfully broken away from these drivers. Let's look at Steve. Mark will probably pass Steve early enough. Much tighter line. And also Brian is having a good run at Team Phillips. You can remove the track map for the moment. Max Venitz very close to Bruno, not quite close enough to attack him though. And Gerard very close to Giovanni. Meanwhile, Ron Wallace has overtaken Rodrigo Ferreira. We'll get the replay in a second. After the chicane, after these two drivers have passed the chicane. Rodrigo Ferreira with a orange car. Ron Wallace with a blue and red livery. Rodrigo just too deep under braking for the hairpin, and Ron took advantage of it. I wanted to show some telemetry data, and once again we have the information only for Varani's car. So that's why I'm showing this driver. Well, that was a loss of control, of course. Let's go back to some other drivers, like the two leaders. Six laps to go. Steve Morris just passing Mark Underwood once again. These driving are changing position the whole time. Quick replay of the action. Looks like, I don't know. Mark was comfortably ahead. He ended up behind, so we'll see. Lost it at the usual corner, turn 2, sorry, I should say. Not again, turn 3, I was correct the first time. Brian Strongquist is gaining ground on all these drivers. He is coming up strong at the end of the race. He actually has a fastest lap faster than Mark Underwood, that qualified 5th. It's a nice battle going on here. And Tim Phillips and Robert Fears behind them are not having a calm moment either. There are close battles everywhere, but this looks like quite some action. Brian making it on the outside of Mark, out of the chicane. There are a lot of bumps outside that corner, the chicane, and also the inside of the last corner. It's actually very easy to lose the car there. Meanwhile, Rodrigo Ferreira has passed Ron Bolas. Ron, I think it's the slow car on the outside of this group. Yes, it is. So now it's a 6 cars battle. That's a view of the Nurburgring complex. However, I do not see the cars. I don't know where they are. This is Macarivi and Sellito, as close as ever, but no position change. Let's see if we can get the other group. Here it is, somebody getting into the sand. That's Ron Wallace again. I wonder if his tires are shot. We are getting close to the end of the race, only 5 laps to go. And let's switch to the leaders with a different camera. Certainly Max needs to attack now if he wants to win the race. Mark Underwood only 0.2 seconds behind Steve Morris. Steve taking a defensive line into the corner. That was not a defensive line, that was arriving too late, too deep, under braking. Defending the inside. And then just misjudging the entry. If I may give some advice, it would actually be better for Steve to run his normal line, and I don't think Mark was close enough to attacking. Steve has some damage. That was a bad entry by Tim Phillips, very aggressive to say the least. He just nudged Brian out of the way. I'm sure it was not malicious. Tim is a very clean driver. That was not a great move either. So I was saying, I don't know if you noticed, but the red car of Steve Morris has some rear wing damage, and that's actually the cause of this loss of control, I'm sure. Now, not only there is rear wing damage, there is no front of the car anymore. That's an ugly looking car right now. I pity it has broken up the group a little bit. So we are back to Bruno and Max with 3 laps to go. 54.6 in the last lap. It's the fastest lap of the race for these two drivers. Sorry, the last lap was 54.9 and 54.7. 54.67 is the fastest lap of the race, not the last one. And as you can see, they have a 15 seconds advantage over Francois Philippe on position 3, the final step of the podium. Steve Morris is indicated in orange. That's a slow driver usually, whereas Ron Wallace, that's Steve Morris actually coming out of the pits just when the leaders were passing by. A quick look at the usual battle between Gerard and Gianni. Robert Fiers, 0.1 seconds behind Tim Phillips. He just ran out of space. There is maybe a little too much contact going on in the back of the field in these last few laps of the race. I mean, mistakes do happen, of course. It's not a big deal. But I wonder if things could have been done a little differently. Well, Robert certainly had the right to be there, and Tim squeezed him a little bit, losing 2 places. Sorry, I lost it. Brian Strongquist was passing Robert Fiers. Robert is very slow. I wonder if he just felt guilty and decided to wait for Tim Phillips to pass him back. I'm sure he did. That was very nice of him, if he did so. But, if I may, I don't think that it was Robert's fault. It was just a racing accident, but if anything it was a team not leaving enough room for Robert. Bruno defending the inside with 2 laps to go. We need to stick with these 2 drivers because Max is trying to win the race, understandably so. Two laps to go. 1.8 for to be precise. It's the number you can read at the top left, just besides the gap information. Nice attack on the inside by Max. Can he make it stick? It seems so. Well done. That's, I think, is the first pass for the lead of the race. 1.5 laps to go. Can Max hang on to it? Whoa, nice slide. Well, nice recovery, I should say. These guys are really pushing. Max has already won a race this season. That's quite some action. Entertaining stuff. Last lap, Max won the Phillip Island race, by the way. Bruno on the inside. Max chose not to defend it. I wonder if it was a mistake not to defend the inside, I mean. That's very wide here, of course. It's very difficult to keep tight. Now it's Bruno going wide. No passing here until the final chicane, unless the guy in front makes a mistake. This is a very fast left-right. It's single file, well, single line I should say. Meanwhile, Rodrigo Ferreira passed Robert Simkins for position 7. That was a touch. Bruno slowed down quite a lot in the middle of that corner, maybe missed a gear for a short while. Max actually had to run into him, or almost ran into him, and that actually assigned the race, because this is the final corner. Well done, Bruno, and very well done to Max Venitz, of course, as well. Position 3 is Francois Philippe. Position 4 is Luca Varani, but let's look at Gianni Sellito, yellow car, position 5, and Gerard Macarivi. They are going to finish in this order. This is the last corner for them as well. Rodrigo Ferreira, he passed Robert Fiers on the last lap. I don't know what happened. And these two drivers have not been on camera for, well, never really. Sorry for that. Unfortunately, I cannot cover every single driver in the race. Mark Underwood behind him finally managed to climb back to 9th place. The 4 or 5 cars back was split up when Steve Morris spun with probably due to his broken rear wing. Tim Phillips position 11 and Robert Fiers 12. Nice race for these two guys as well. Well, that's the race for today. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. I apologize for the technical problems in the middle of the race. Not sure what was happening. Standings, championship standings after 6 races. So we are halfway through the tournament. Varani leading with 368 points. Max, no race win for him though. Max Venitz 302. So these two drivers are fighting for the top spot in the championship. Clark Williams is 3rd, then Gianni Sellito with 199 points, Marc Egea 198, Gerard Macarivi 197, Francois Philippe 184, Leandro Schmidt 174. That's quite some close very small gaps between this driver. All the positions are up for grabs. And then there are all the other drivers that have raced in this series. We have about 70 drivers racing with us in this season. You can see the entire standings at following the link at the bottom of the video. Thank you very much for staying with us. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and as always, if you want to race with us, please do so. We will be very happy to have you. Goodbye.